This is getting ridiculous as another injury decimates this defensive core even further, leading to lots of questions, and even more defensive damage is dealt after last night's costly overtime win ended with a big scare. We're going to be breaking down all of that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any and all updates surrounding the Canucks as we're finally back in the win column, getting our first win since the Four Nations break. And with that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is Noah Juulsen is done. And that is Noah Juulsen's season is likely over after going through surgery this week on his hernia. And now it's begging the question of, okay, Noah Juulsen is done for the year, but has he played his last games as a Vancouver Canuck? Well, Juulsen has been battling a nagging injury for the past couple of months. He was placed on injured reserve last month, missing over 2 weeks of action due to an undisclosed injury. He returned to play 3 games, last appearing in Vancouver's lineup on February 2nd in a 3-2 overtime loss to the Detroit Red Wings. The 27-year-old has played in just 35 of the Canucks' 58 games this season. He didn't register a point, posted a plus-minus of -12 while averaging 16-17 of ice time. Against the Red Wings, he saw less than 12 minutes of action. So not only was Juulsen not producing on the point sheet, yes, he was battling injuries. It is unfortunate to see that he was having to deal with those and having 2 different stints on the IR in just under a month. But then you also have the matter of, okay, his ice time was also not that great, especially when defensemen are usually up and around the 20-minute range if you're Quinn Hughes and Filip Hronek, and at least the really high teens if you're on that third, fourth line, or on that second and third pairing. But with Juulsen, he was just getting over 15 minutes of ice time a game, and it will be the 3rd time in Juulsen's career that he has failed to score a point in the NHL during a season. Granted, he only played 12 games with Vancouver during the 2022-2023 season and 4 with the Florida Panthers in 2020 and 2021. The Surrey, BC native entered the 24-25 campaign coming off the best season of his NHL career. In a career-high 54 games of the Canucks, he posted a goal and 6 assists for 7 points, playing in 2 of the team's games during last year's Stanley Cup playoffs, which saw Vancouver make it all the way to Game 7, as we know, losing to the Edmonton Oilers. Juulsen is set to be an unrestricted free agent this summer. He's in the final season of a 2-year contract that he signed with the Canucks in June 23 with a cap hit of $775,000. Now, Juulsen, he's not taking too much of a cap hit on the Canucks, but again, if you're able to move on from him, it is unfortunate the circumstances of it, but if you are able to move on from him, that $775,000 you can kind of clear up to do whatever other moves you might want to do, move that onto an extra contract offer for another player, or to go out and get a free agent, or just something to have more wiggle room to work with in negotiations, whether it's during this season or when the July 1st free agency starts this summer. There's going to be a few options for the Canucks to explore there. The other part of it is, too, Noah Juulsen, yes, he was brought in on a cheap contract. He wasn't expected to be a top 4 guy. He is in the bottom pairing and just on and off the roster. He's not even a permanent resident of this roster when he's healthy. So at the end of the day, losing a guy like this, it's not a big blow to the Canucks, and it does suck to say that just because he is going through this injured, and it unfortunately might be his last stint as a Canuck, where he's going on to the end of the year, having been done for the year, not even finishing the regular season, and not producing a lot of points to show for it. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of upside towards the Canucks re-signing him because he hasn't really shown too much in his tenure as a Canuck. Last season was his best career season, and he didn't really have a lot to show for it as well. His defensive play was a bit of a liability this season as well, but nonetheless, a lot of guys loved him in the locker room. He was a great team guy. Fans seemed to like him as well a decent bit, not as much as some other guys on the defense, but he still was generally liked by the Vancouver Canucks and the fan base, so it will suck losing a guy that does represent that for this team. However, when the stats aren't speaking for themselves, the time on ice is saying what it says as well when it comes to Rick Tocchet's players. And you have this unfortunate injury where he is coming off of 2 injuries also earlier this season. So yes, it is unfortunate. However, I think it's too much of a liability for the Canucks to keep him, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. And we likely have seen Noah Juulsen's last game as a Vancouver Canuck against the Detroit Red Wings when we lost in overtime. But what do you guys think of all of this? Do you guys think this is a big blow to the Canucks? Do you think it's not so much of a big one? And do you think the Canucks will bring back Noah Juulsen on a cap-friendly deal next season? Or do you think they will move on from him after the 2 seasons that they've had him have not worked out and in succession with each other? So let us know down in the comments below, but that's going to take us into our second topic of the day, which is Myers and Hughes injury updates. So last night, it got scary, but Tyler Myers is okay. Tocchet was saying he has a big red welt on his neck because the shot he blocked hit a nerve and momentarily made him dizzy. Tocchet suggested postgame that the Canucks had dodged a bullet, and it sounds like Myers may even be an option on Thursday in Anaheim. So this is obviously a great breath of fresh air for the Vancouver Canucks and their fan base, because it was looking very scary. Tyler Myers looked like he was almost dead on the ice, and I hate saying that because you don't want to see a player down like that, but he was down for a while. It took a while to get him up and even into the locker room. They brought him over to the bench. He was on the bench for a little bit before making his way into the locker room, but it was a very scary scene for Vancouver Canucks fans and the players, I'm sure, as well, because it just looked very rough. Anyone who gets a puck in the face, it's going to hurt, especially the neck area. That could have a lot of complications with it. Could lead to a concussion, could lead to a neck injury, could lead to a whole assortment of things that you don't want to have. Thankfully, it seems like Tyler Myers is okay, and he does have an outside shot to almost play in Anaheim on Thursday. So that's going to be very interesting to watch and monitor. Hopefully, he is able to play. If he's not able to play, hopefully it's just saying, hey, he's not at 100%. We don't want to push that, especially when there was another defensive player last night who was not at 100% because of an injury, and that was Quinn Hughes. He was saying, really thankful to our medical group who did a great job with me, so he was able to play last night. I'm just going to have to keep building. Can't say I felt my best tonight, but I got through the game, and hopefully I can build my confidence from there. So yeah, if you were watching the game last night, you knew something wasn't fully right with Quinn Hughes. He did still register 2 points in the game as well, snapping their 2-game losing streak, and as he recorded the primary assist on Connor Garland's overtime winner, bringing his total points this season to 60. And he finished second on the time on ice last night with 21:38, trailing only Filip Hronek with 26:03. However, with Hughes, this is something where we didn't see the normal Quinn Hughes we're used to seeing. Yeah, he got 2 points. He helped on the overtime winner, but we've seen Quinn Hughes be a little bit faster than that. We know that that it wasn't all 100% there. So if the Canucks do decide to hold off on playing Tyler Myers tonight in Anaheim, I'm fully okay with it, because as much as it sucks that we have these defensive injuries, Victor Mancini, he's going to get his shot now again, because no Juulsen out for the year. That just means even more reason to put him in the lineup. And especially if you're not playing Tyler Myers as well, we could see DPD Elias Pettersson come up as well and get another start. So there's going to be a lot of options for the Canucks to have here, as yes, it does suck that we aren't going to have potentially 2 defensive players for this game. Quinn Hughes, hopefully he's just able to be clicking at 100% again, but it's not going to be fully there. Tyler Myers, outside chance of playing, or if he is playing, it's not 100%. So this defensive core is decimated right now. It's not looking very great right now. However, if it's just for a game against Anaheim before we get Myers and Hughes back to 100%, I'm okay with that. Anaheim, they're not very good. We should be able to go in tonight and get a win at Honda Center, but this is the NHL. We've seen this before, where last year on Easter, we saw the Canucks take the Anaheim Ducks lightly, and it was Archer Shilov's coming out party almost, or his first NHL start, I should say, and we took the Ducks lightly, and we barely won that game, and we just escaped with a victory. Hopefully tonight is a different story, and we're able to get out of Anaheim with another victory and have 2 straight wins going into this final push for the playoffs, to hopefully not only just skate by into a wild card spot, but to try and get a dominant spot in the division. But let us know what you guys think down in the comments as well. What do you guys think about Hughes not being back to 100%? Do you think Tyler Myers will play tonight in Anaheim? Let us know what you guys think down below. And if he doesn't play tonight, if you are the coach at this point, if he says he's ready to go, do you still start him considering the injury that happened last night, or how scary it looked? Let us know down in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. We've had lots of great feedback over the past few days, and lots of very passionate comments in the comments section. So love to see the support and the passion from you guys as Canucks fans. But that's going to do it for this episode of Canucks Digest. I've been your host, Griffen. Take care.